What's up, Star Wars fans? Today I want to talk about The Mandalorian Season 3 Chapter 1, also known as Chapter 17, The Apostate. And also in this video I'll be reviewing The Bad Batch Episode 10, Metamorphosis. And after way too long, Jon Favreau definitely knows how to bring back The Mandalorian. We get to see Din Djarin's clan inducting a new member into their cult, only to be attacked by an enormous amphibious creature, which is more than the combined might of the clan can handle. That said, it was absolutely awesome to see these Mandalorians in action, something we've really never seen in live action. And what else was awesome was Mando's entrance. He saves the day by swooping in with his N1 starfighter, destroying the monster once and for all. For me, this was by far the best part of the episode, and something I immediately wanted to go back and watch. But the true purpose of this opening wasn't to entertain us, it was to establish the fact that the Mandalorian Din Djarin himself has to find the mines of Mandalore if he wants to be redeemed for taking off his helmet. And then, as we all knew would happen, Din Djarin makes his way to Nevarro, where he meets with his old friend Greef Karga. And although we all knew that he was going to Nevarro, I don't think too many of us knew that the purpose of him being there was actually to retrieve IG-11 to help him with his mission on Mandalore. And I gotta say that I like the fact that Mando tries to repair IG-11 himself, and it simply doesn't go well. I mean, Mando doesn't like droids, and he's certainly not a droid smith. So the fact that IG-11 goes a little haywire, while it was a pretty silly scene, it does make sense. And what else was a pretty silly scene was Mando taking IG-11 to the droid smiths, the Incellans. These guys are super cute, and they looked hilarious with Baby Yoda, but it was certainly a silly scene. But what wasn't a silly scene, and something I predicted would happen in my prediction video, and we get a fantastic starfighter battle. I mean, Mando absolutely dominates the pirate pilots, and it was also pretty awesome to see the main pirate ship, as well as the captain who looked like he could be right out of the Pirates of the Caribbean. I got a bad feeling about this, and I think we'll definitely be seeing these pirates again. That said, the next scene for me is a little disjointed. After all, Mando left Nevarro looking for a piece for his droid, and what happens is that he goes to visit Bo-Katan and asks her about the mines of Mandalore and if he'll be able to visit Mandalore at all. And hey, don't get me wrong, it was great to see Bo-Katan again, but like I said, this felt a little bit disjointed because Mando is looking for this part for IG-11, and then he seems to forget about that part and goes to see Bo-Katan. Again, don't get me wrong, I think this is a great start to The Mandalorian Season 3, just that last part of the episode seemed a little disjointed. That said, what was a big deal for me, and as a huge Star Wars Rebels, I would be totally remiss for not mentioning, Baby Yoda sees space whales Purrgil in hyperspace, and that was absolutely a cool connection to Star Wars Rebels, and really got me thinking about the Ahsoka series. But that all said, let's move on to my review of Episode 10 of The Bad Batch. So I think the most relevant part of this episode comes very early on when the Bad Batch are talking to Sid. They were all rightfully very upset at Sid, as she wasn't able to send anybody to pick them up when they lost their ship on their last mission. Furthermore, they state that this might even be their last mission for Sid, which gets me super excited, meaning that the Bad Batch might be joining Rex and Echo earlier than I anticipated. We do also get to see a big scene at Mount Tantiss, where Nella Se is being held captive, and it is hinted that at Mount Tantiss they're working on cloning the Emperor, as we've all expected. Now, despite these pretty awesome revelations, the episode itself is mostly about the Zilla Beast that we saw in the trailer, and it's a creature feature sorta episode. As Tech and Omega are extracting some information about the Zilla Beast, Omega shares with us that there were rumors about some different types of cloning going on, most likely off-world, that Nella Se was keeping from her. That said, this episode takes a turn once the Imperials show up. The Super Commando clones make short work of the Zilla Beast. They certainly seem to have the right tech to take care of the creature, and they chase off the Bad Batch, who narrowly escape in the Marauder. But the big revelation near the end of this episode is the fact that Tech points out Kamino wasn't destroyed to stop cloning, it was destroyed so that the Emperor could control cloning. But what's even better is the fact that Hunter decides to send this information onto Rex and Echo, hoping that they might be able to find out some more information about this situation. But that isn't all. For our final scene, the former Prime Minister of Kamino reveals that a young female clone, aka Omega, is the key to motivating Nella Se. So it sounds like the Bad Batch are going to be under siege by the Empire, and once again they're going to be desperately trying to track down Omega. This episode was definitely a setup episode, setting us up for the ending of the Bad Batch Season 2, and I gotta say I'm excited, and the end of this season is looking real good. But hey Star Wars fans, I got up way too early to do a double review, so hit that like button if you appreciate that. And as always, I'm Mike, and remember, the Force will be with you, always.